Hello everybody and welcome to today's review of Godzilla vs. Kong. It is the new film directed by Adam Wingard starring Alexander Skarsgård, Rebecca Hall, Millie Bobby Brown, and Brian Tyree Henry. This is the fourth film in the MonsterVerse, a franchise that is centered on a bunch of prehistorical monsters that once roamed the earth but are now slowly re-emerging into today's modern world. Most of humanity is divided as to whether or not these monsters are here to live in peace among us or are they here to destroy us and to become once again the dominant species of the planet. This movie focuses on two monsters, King Kong and Godzilla. In the beginning of the film, we see King Kong in his natural habitat on Skull Island. However, we quickly realize that King Kong is actually being held in captivity. And this is done mostly for his own protection, because as we've learned in the last film, Godzilla has made himself king of the monsters. And he has this sonar capability in which he is able to detect whether a monster is a threat to his dominance over the monsters. And as of now, the only monster capable of defeating Godzilla is King Kong. So if Kong is let out of the bag, Godzilla will surely find him and tried to kill him. Which is why scientists like Eileen Andrews, played by Rebecca Hall, is keeping Kong hidden from the world. However, events take place that make them rethink this strategy, because later on we see Godzilla attacking a facility. Everybody thought that Godzilla was the protector of humanity, and yet they see him causing all this ruckus and killing innocent people. So now they're thinking that maybe they should release Kong in order for him to take down Godzilla, because now Godzilla has become a threat. But one person in particular does not believe that, and that is Madison, played by Millie Bobby Brown. She is actually an ally of Godzilla and doesn't believe that this act of violence was random. She believes that Godzilla in a way was provoked, and she, along with a conspiracy theorist played by Brian Tyree Henry, are set out on a journey to figure out why Godzilla would attack that particular facility and what is making him go aggro. So yeah, let's get down to it. There is really only one positive thing that I could say about this movie, and that's the showdown between King Kong and Godzilla. It is a fight sequence that really delivers. The choreography is amazing and the visual effects are mind-blowing. And one thing that I'm really glad to see is that finally we get to see Godzilla at his greatest potential, which is good because in the previous films, I mean, he had such fat legs. I mean, he was so slow when it comes to moving compared to Kong, who is an ape and thus more agile. I mean, I feel like they should really up his capabilities, and in this movie they did just that. They made him stronger and faster, and when you see the two of them fight, you have no idea who's gonna win because they really feel like equals in this battle. And the film doesn't pull any cheap shots. There is a winner, but I'm not gonna tell you who. And I must commend the visual effects artists of this film because they had a lot to deal with, because the climactic fight sequence takes place in Hong Kong and it takes place at night, so we see lots of neon, and as we see these creatures crashing into buildings, we have to see the light reflecting off of the bodies of these monsters, and it made the film that much more vibrant and much more enjoyable to watch. Now, as to the negatives of the film, I gotta say, I really appreciate as to how they were able to weave the storylines of these two characters into one story. How they start and how they ended up clashing with each other, it seemed to make sense for the most part. The only thing that I disliked about the film were the humans. They always reiterate where these creatures come from and why they're here and why they do the things they do. Most of the time, it feels like these characters are telling us the story as opposed to feeling like they are a part of it. And by the time you get to the end of the movie, I just felt like Millie Bobby Brown's character's plotline was so pointless. I mean, she's there to show us that there is something else going on behind the curtain, but other than that, she really doesn't do anything to fix the problem in the movie. Her companion, the conspiracy theorist, does have a part to play, but when we find out what that is, it just felt so weak. I didn't really even like that character all that much, to be honest with you. He is mostly there to be the comic relief of the movie, and yet I found his humor to be very forced, and whenever he is put into a situation in which his life is threatened, he just rides it off like a joke, and that took me out of the film many, many times. I mean, you can tell that these actors were enjoying themselves on camera, but it just does the film no credit when the humans are not being treated with the same amount of respect as the monsters are. I do have one exception though. In the film, there's a little girl, Gia. She is a deaf little native girl who forms a special bond with Kong. It's through this relationship that we realize that Kong is much more than just a giant ape. It was also a good way to exemplify that humanity truly doesn't understand those that are different from them, and it also encompasses their fear and their uncertainty as to where they stand in this world. However, I know where I stand on this movie. I mean, the film was enjoyable in terms of visual effects, and the fight sequence is extremely entertaining. But still, because of underdeveloped characters and pointless subplots, I mean, it's entertaining for what it is, but the film just doesn't do it for me. So I'm gonna give Godzilla vs. Kong a C+. I think that's fair. Thank you for watching my video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope to see you again next time.